Mohammed's up next. He says, hey guys, I've been doing a revenue share AdWords campaign with a home builder recently. And while I haven't made money yet, the model seems like it can be very profitable once I get the hang of it. That said, would it be a good idea to just go to multiple businesses with high client values like IT infrastructure, real estate, remodeling, etc., and do the same thing? It's easy to sell a business owner since their clients would be big. I wouldn't need a lot of sales to make it worth the time. Then again, I'm not seeing a drawback here. It seems too easy. Is there something I'm missing? Well, the first part of that question I would recommend is to stick with a home builder personally and start scaling outwards as far as going into other locations and targeting other builders. The reason I say that is because you don't need to do all the research again, Mohammed. If you've already done it once for this campaign that you're working for, this revenue share partner that you have, then why do the research all over again? My point is, every time you switch industries, you got to start from scratch as far as the research and the keywords and the pain points and the sales and knowing what type of ad copy gets the highest click-through rate and which type of pages convert leads to visitors to leads. All that kind of stuff, once you start dialing that in, which it sounds like you're in the midst of right now for your home builder campaign, why not just duplicate what you've already done, right? And that way, now you've got in the same industry, just in multiple cities. So now you're going to start amassing even more and more data about that particular industry, and you can get really, really good at that industry. And that's how you scale, man. Trying to start taking over or providing the same service to multiple industries means you have to do the research all over. It's a long learning curve, and you'll never really be a big fish because you'll be a small fish in a great big pond as opposed to a big fish in a small pond, if that makes sense. Any comments, guys?
Yeah, I don't like to see people move on until they have monetized what they've started personally. So if it hasn't started paying yet, I would make it start paying before you even start thinking anything.
Yeah,
from a business owner or whatever, it doesn't matter. See what you have going monetized.
From a momentum standpoint too. Once you get that first, bit of money coming in, you're going to get, jacked about that and just like want to dig into it deeper. And I agree 100%. Stay within, a certain amount of niches as well. I try and stay in, some of the most competitive niches because I know there's always money there and I can monetize whatever I have.
Yep.
But I still limit that. I don't hop around unless something comes around where it's like, yeah, that makes sense, and they're going to pay me a shit ton of money to get into that industry. I'll learn it. So
yeah, and for what you're saying, Brad, that makes sense because here's the thing: you already can, you can achieve results in any industry that you go into by duplicating the processes that you've set up. But for somebody that is just learning the process, don't even have the processes in place yet, don't go start trying to scale into other industries because you need to get the process down first to where it's duplicatable. Then you can start looking at other industries or niches to get into if you want. Although I still recommend your quickest way to scale is to stick within one particular industry and maybe some subsets of that industry.
Absolutely. And one thing I will say is another thing about jumping around into different business owners is that I really don't like seeing people put in that type of work and doing the keyword research until somebody else has money in the game. So, keeping it with one person until that's monetized, you're not jumping in and spending all these hours doing keyword research in all these different industries for different business owners that haven't put money in the game with you yet. I mean, if they put money in the game with you, it's one thing, but this is another factor to look at. It's like, just make sure there's money there for the work you've already put in before you start putting more work in.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, Bradley, if I can add something. Like I totally agree with Mike and Brad are saying here, because we have had these students or people coming to the Hangout saying, I'm coming from I want to do a national dentist, whatever, a directory or a website or a lead gen that's going national. And while we do we do applaud that you're thinking big, I do agree with the guys in terms of go first to an area, make money, monetize that, and use that money to reinvest back in your project. You know what I mean? So yeah, so that's basically what we are like. There's absolutely like you can totally achieve it, but a lot of people they get discouraged initially and they keep spinning their wheels because again they are hopping from different business. And I totally agree with what Mike was saying in terms of either A, you're developing your own properties, you're developing your own lead gen websites, or B, you're charging the business owner, right? So if you're developing your own lead gen, your own properties with 301s or whatever you're trying to do, then monetize something and use that money to reinvest in the rest of the structure, you know? So that's how we approach it, because I've had like big projects like that in the past. And unless you have like a big wallet or a big, you know, VC funding or whatever that is to buck you up for the next 3 or 4 years or 5 years, that's going to take you, you know, monetize that big project. Then you need to take it slowly and by chunks, you know, divide it by chunks and go from there. So yeah, that would be basically my input, and I totally agree with you guys.
Yeah, we're in an industry where you can stay as lean as you want to stay, and we're not dead about rolling it back in and growing that way is perfect. And you also want to get that first win and have that confidence in yourself. And I remember the first time I made money online, I worked my ass off after that, you know, and so definitely get there, stay there, and get that first freaking win for yourself, so that you are like, hell, I did this, I can do this. And now, like Bradley said, scale, but scale in the same space without doing the work again, and just use what you have, cap that space out, and then move on if you need to move on.
Yeah, proof of concept is huge in the beginning, and then expand vertically.